we want to help you get to know your local candidates. So on The T with Amanda Roley, I sit down with candidates to discuss who they are and where they stand on important issues in our community. Here's what some of the candidates told me over tea. Well, thank you for joining me today, Larry Haskell, running for another term as Spokane County Prosecutor. Thank you for making the time to come down. And we have the tea, but I have the questions for you here in your campaign. First question, what are you drinking? What kind of tea are you joining me with today?
Earl Grey, black and sweetener.
Let's just get right into the heart of it. You've run for a few terms now, and tell me why you decided to run again. You're our incumbent prosecutor.
I feel like I know the job better than anybody right now. I took over for...
Well, you've been in it since 2014, right?
Well, 2014, I took office on 1/1/15, and a third term, a final term. I'm getting a little older, and I want to have some life on the backside, and of course, we're not guaranteed anything tomorrow, much less 4 years from now.
It came out in this past year that your wife's made racist comments. So I want to ask you, how has your wife's racist comments compromised the prosecutor's office?
Well, I think everybody was shocked, but at first, but I think it was because, why didn't I know that? Why didn't I know that we were racist? People started to second guess themselves, and especially the newer ones. People that have known me for a long time or that were in the office already when I got here in 1998, they're like, that's a lot of noise. They didn't see any racism, and so now we're being accused of being racist. Because in my view, the purpose of it is to, smear my wife with those things, and justifiably so to a degree. But then say, okay, because she feels that way, without knowing anything more than the post that they published, to say that she is to say that Haskell must be too. And I have told people over and over again, I have repudiated those views. I have told the public that they are reprehensible, the comments were reprehensible, but that those are not my views. I don't share them, and I certainly don't practice them in my professional life.
But how can you say your wife's opinion doesn't affect you?
It doesn't.
But how can you say that?
How can I say it? Because I know what my authorities are. And my authorities are the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Washington, the statutory scheme, the rules of evidence, the rules of professional conduct, and I'm not putting my bar license on the line simply because of a view that somebody else has, even if it's my wife.
If you're reelected, what are some changes that you might want to bring? Are there any changes you'd like to bring to the prosecutor's office?
We suffer from a management standpoint and a communication standpoint by being in many buildings. We don't live in a single building.
So you'd want to see all offices brought into one location?
We would. Definitely would. The other thing is pay, particularly for non-attorney staff. It's very low.
Deb, Conklin, let's dive into it. You're running for prosecuting attorney. What made you want to run for office?
So we need a deep cultural change in this office. The problem is not just this action or that action. The problem is the culture in the office.
You are running against Larry Haskell. Currently, Washington State only has 4 women serving as county prosecutors. I mean, what do you think about that?
I think that prosecuting attorneys have the same glass ceiling that virtually every other profession has.
In the past year, Larry Haskell's wife it came out that his wife had made racist comments. So I'd like to hear your thoughts. Do you think Larry Haskell's wife's racist comments have compromised the prosecutor's office?
Even though Prosecutor Haskell claims that his office is not engaging in any sort of bias, the numbers suggest otherwise.
How do you suppose that can be improved if you're elected?
So partly, I think we need to do this training. We need to have everybody in the office, and if possible, all of our law enforcement take the training in, why race matters.
What is your stance on gun rights?
I believe in the Second Amendment. I've actually owned guns. I think, gun ownership is a responsibility, and I think people need to take it seriously. I think we need regulations that make it so that a barely 18-year-old can go and buy several high-powered weapons.
Well, that's not possible in Washington State, though.
In Washington State. But he can buy them in Texas and come to Washington State.
But you're running for a Washington State county office.
I'm just saying, I think we need reasonable regulation of guns.
Okay. What would reasonable look like to you?
It would be, people don't need high-powered weapons.
And what does high-powered mean to you?
Assault weapons, for sure.
But what is that? I mean, it's specific.
Well, so that's the problem.
Sure.
Is we would have to write a law that defines it.
What will your focus be in office?
My focus will be to bring a sense of justice to the system, so that when people get charged, we know that there's really the evidence there for the case, and that the prosecutor's office is prepared to go to trial on that if we need to. We will have an office where people want to come to work. We've had a lot of people leaving the office over the last 2 years. So we'll have an office where people want to come to work and feel good about what they do.
Now, these are only snippets of my interviews with these candidates. You can watch the full interviews on the KREM 2 YouTube page, and stick with KREM 2 Plus for more election coverage. Thanks for watching.